Hello, fellow Scorpios. I am Dr. Tarot, and this is your reading for October 7th through October 14th. Welcome to this channel. I like to think of it as your tarot channel. So please feel free to subscribe. Join this very, very small yet growing family. And yeah, let's get on with it. So I'm using the Shadowscapes Tarot for the kind of main cards here. Okay, so we've got for career or work, interesting, love cards, and for general, like soul path, interesting, wow. Whew, Scorpio. We got some intense stuff happening here, but room for growth. It's just we're in it. We're in the middle of it. We're in the thick of it. So we've got Eight of Swords for career/work. I define career as whatever you define career as. So for you, your path in terms of career and the work that you contribute to the world is what you receive a paycheck for. Cool. If it is what you love to do but are not making money doing it, or maybe plan to make money, never really plan to make money, just love it, you consider yourself a carpenter, and that is like what you do, but it's not how you make your living. We're referring to that. So essentially leaving it up to you. Well, we've got Eight of Swords, but here's the thing. And I actually just read a bunch about Eight of Swords because I pulled it and was just kind of baffled. What you notice, so the general kind of, if you had to summarize Eight of Swords in pretty much every deck I think I've seen, it's being trapped. Rather, it's feeling trapped. So, and I think this card captures this perfectly, because here is the light and here is the bird. And my sense in looking at this card is that the hummingbird, I'll bet you there's some deep folklore here that I am not aware of with this deck, but I will certainly read up. That little hummingbird appears to, that signifies your soul. And the bird down here, your body. Now, I don't know if that runs against your personal theology or worldview. That's totally fine. And I don't represent a particular theology or worldview. I'm just telling you kind of the message I'm getting from the card. I'm also seeing kind of almost like a little heart. But to summarize, this, whatever sort of trapped, can't help it, I have to keep showing you guys. And down here we have like little carcasses, or rather skeletons, which tells me that this has been a battle for multiple lifetimes. And the swords themselves aren't really doing anything. They're sort of around the swan. And the swan is a fully developed animal, right? And it's screaming up to the hummingbird. Basically, I mean, again, the imagery is rich. You have your way out. I don't want to go as far as saying this is an entanglement of your own making. Personally, I feel that doesn't help anybody, and that doesn't really, that we don't know that that's true, if it's us even saying that. So, but what I am saying is that your escape is possible. And this could be a thought process. This could be sort of like obsession. I'm thinking of like, the brain spinning and spinning and spinning. Sometimes a spiral, sometimes a holding pattern. Just spinning and spinning and looking for, wanting it to stop, right? Or wanting it to wanting somehow to have control, and the truth is we don't. So in terms of career and work, whatever it is, clearly you're experiencing hardship. A lot of this really is, and bear with me because I can't stand when people tell me this sort of thing. So just hear me out, Scorpios. This is very much a mental muck of our own making. We simply need to, first of all, relax. I don't know about you Scorpios, but that's something I have a hard time doing, but we're all works in progress, right? And we need to just allow, I'm seeing meditation, and I'm really, again, I'm a Scorpio, as I said, Scorpio sun, so maybe I'm talking to myself here. Really just sitting in it. See, the thing is, again, and this is work related. So what are some for instances? Let's bring it to earth, right? You have to work from home and you don't want to work from home because there's whatever, family distractions, spouse or roommate that makes it difficult to work for whatever reason, wherever on the continuum of liking or not liking you are with that person. You know your situation. So if it's not working in the home, fill in the blank. But I feel like I'm definitely, if I'm not talking to you, of course, this is of course a general reading, so it will not resonate with everybody. But you absolutely, your soul knows what's up, right? You're already ascending. You're already kind of out of the thicket. And it's just a matter of, what I'm really getting is like, we need to sit. We need to sit and understand that there's something very illusory about all of these swords, and the more we struggle and try to get out of all of these thorns in this thicket, we further entangle ourselves. Isn't that crazy? Thanks, brain. So whatever, when I say meditate, I use that term very broadly. So meditating is just basically getting into a zone where the mind is no longer working, but in a good way. So sometimes people refer to it as, if you're a runner, getting into a flow. If you're a sports enthusiast, there's some sport that you like to play, or there's you like to go for a walk. It could be sitting in the quiet. It could be staring outside. The point is that you're not engaged in mental activity. Now, yes, I know athletics requires a certain amount of, it is mental. I mean, if you're a quarterback for a football team, of course you have to make calculations and stuff. But really, if you're in the midst of that activity, you're in a flow. So even that quarterback, sure, their brain is doing something, but it's on automatic pilot. It's just doing. He's just in the flow. In fact, and not that I'm a football fan or anything, but I have been exposed to football, it seems as though overthinking is the enemy when it comes to that sort of thing. So I've said a lot about this because I'm just really getting, Eight of Swords is just so, I want to say mindfuck, but that's not really, that's almost like too broad. But sit with yourself. Sit with yourself and recognize that the truth is right here, and we are just messing ourselves up. And we don't want to sit still. We want to do something, right? We want to fix it. What can I do? What can I do? I'm not I don't want to just sit here and just be in this morass of nonsense. Accept that you're in it. I mean, unless you are in some sort of physical, mental, spiritual, emotional danger, obviously you need, take whatever precautions. And I'm not a medical practitioner by any means, nor am I disposing that advice. But as one human to another, this is different. But it is imperative that we understand that right now we're at the end of a cycle, and we're understanding that, because this is toward the end of the swords. And we also have Nine of Swords, by the way. So don't you worry, we'll get to that. And they're very connected. So I'll talk about them when we get there. Anyway, enough about that. This is a powerful reading, guys. I have to say. It feels pretty intense, even though there aren't any major arcana. We only have one court card. So what's going on with love? Love is actually, it looks like, whether you're single, married, partnered, I feel like I'm talking to singles. But if you're in a relationship, I want to say that it's not a terrible time. I am a little concerned. It seems like you might feel or perceive. So what I get, this is kind of you, and this is your person, if there is a person. You feel like you're giving. You feel like you're giving your due, so the expectation is you should get in return. And they feel like they're getting, like people, like their, I don't know, their essence, their time is being taken from them. So it's a very strange thing where it's possible that if you're partnered, you're like, I'm a giver, I'm giving to you, and your partner's sort of like, man, I feel like, you're a well of, I can't give you enough. And they feel like they're kind of losing themselves is a little bit, is not quite it, but something around that, something around maybe like losing their brain space. And while it sounds like what are you talking about? How is this good? Your mutual energy is this. It's Page of Pentacles. And that is, you both have something to offer each other, and you are, my gosh, the artwork here is just astounding. I just realized, I think that's a dragon. It's like so hard to see. But what I'm focused on is the Owl of Wisdom and this figure here on top of the pentacle / coin. And you both have something to offer each other, something tangible, and it's fun and it's light. And it seems like if you're not at the beginning of a relationship, you're certainly at some point of not renewal, maybe a little bit of renewal, but rather, yeah, I'm getting renewal. So I'll just have to say that. Different place. Yeah, I'll say that. Just, we'll leave it there. And if you're single and you're looking or you're wondering, this tells me that this feels a lot like a past relationship, which didn't make it, interestingly. And I see some heartbreak. And this is on the horizon for you, which is awesome. So this feels like a nice, no craziness, no massive, like, karmic whatever. It's just kind of, it's all manageable, I think is what I want to say. I think it's the second time I use that adjective to talk about some sign's love thing, love reading, love portion of their reading. Now, nitty gritty. So this is the Soul Path card. Now look at this. Now what she does, the artist in this deck, if you'll notice, all the swords, each suit has kind of a general color hue. So for example, swords are purple. Unfortunately, we have another one here. Pentacles are green. It's very subtle. It's not like it's green. It's just generally green. So the same with the sword. So here we were with our work, right? The very next card is actually, now we have wings, right? Now we have wings. Now these guys, all these guys that kind of had us entrapped, okay, they've flown up. So we have, presumably, we're aware. But guess what happened? When we were sitting, when we gave ourselves the space to just say, look, okay, fine, I surrender. I'm not going to fight you. Because the bottom line is, either I'm going to surrender and you're going to finally release me, or I'm going to keep fighting you until I do surrender. So let me save myself some time. So this is you in surrender. Your wings are back. You're in human form. And the black birds signify the swords and however, the artist uses swords in the Eight of Swords. They're no longer swords. They've morphed into birds that are heading into that tunnel of light. So they're on their way out. But what's happening? We're looking at that and we're going, oh my gosh, I had no idea how much was going on in there. I mean, if you can look at it, look at the difference even in imagery here, right? So you've got this, whoopsie, hold on. It's hard to balance these guys. Here's the swan on the ground. This looks like just a little space, right? Like a cave almost. And then, here's some more earth, right? By the way, there is a hand there, and I'll have to look into what that is. Can you guys see? Let me see. Look at that hand. It's probably blurry. I'm trying to make it. That is a hand. Okay. And here, this looks like, practically like the angel, which is us, is like in the sky. And this is like this massive celestial tunnel expanse. So there's something with our career that's connected with soul path right now. I think it's because career is what's really kind of on our mind. It's not that love's not, it's just that we've got too much going on here. That's it. If we had more space, we could probably deal with love and relationships, but this is really taking center stage. The good news is we've moved along to the Nine of Swords, and those birds have ascended, as it were. The lesson here, from what I can gather from what my guides are kind of, I guess, giving me, is that when we sit, right? When we're still, the bullshit just blows us away. How much stuff is inside, how much the brain, you just don't realize how much stuff you have until you scratch the veneer. And hey, I feel this is the only, obviously for Scorpios, I feel like I have this sort of authoritative tone, right? As a Scorpio, I can relate to that, it can be challenging, to scratch the veneer and get under all that stuff. But the reward is great, because it's really just, we're more scared of it than we need to be. And when we sit with it, expect it to be more than we realized. Don't expect it to be like, okay, I'm sitting now, this should fix it. This isn't fixing it. This is uncovering it to release it. Okay? I'll repeat that. This is uncovering it through whatever, it could be 5 minutes of sitting, looking, staring outside of a window. It could be literally walking from a car to a job, or from a car to a grocery store, or, however it folds into your life. It doesn't have to be deep. You don't have to pay anyone. You don't have to go take classes. You don't have to sign up for any kind of activity. Just know that it's, a quote's coming. Okay, I got you. The only way out is through. The only way out is through. So we're heading through that tunnel. That's our work for this week, I suppose. Who knows what next week's going to look like. But this is actually a fantastic card. In many decks, this card looks crazy sad and tragic. It's saying the same thing, by the way. It just has the swords, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Rider-Waite or other decks that mimic that imagery. So that's what I got for you, Scorpio. Ran a little long. I hope that this gives you some clarity or healing or comfort or whatever it is that you have needed today. All right. Talk to you next week. Take care.